She's... All right, there we go. Are you going to roll the video, Chom? I guess not. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the Modern Sales Mastery Show. Don't know what happened there. That was like the shortest introduction ever, but that's okay. That just gives me more time with my special guest today. He is going to be a friend. He's a friend of a friend right now. Actually, a few folks introduced me to John and said, you have to have him on your show. And then I did a little research and I'm like, yes, we have to have him on this show. Now, normally, right, we're called Modern Sales Mastery now. Normally, we talk about sales and sales strategies and sales techniques and sales leadership and all that kind of good stuff. But today we're going to go off a little bit on the side. And I want to talk to our salespeople and anyone else listening to the show, our entrepreneurs, our small business owners, about creating that visual brand. So my guest today, now that I've built it up and not told you his name, is John DeMato, a photographer and a visual story expert who collaborates with speakers, trainers, consultants, other expert business owners to create images in content that captures their audience's attention through artistry and emotion. We'll come back to that, artistry and emotion. He's not simply a photographer. He thinks like a marketer, which is what we as salespeople need to do more of. We need to think like marketers, and he sets clients up for success beyond the photo sessions by educating them on how to leverage their portraits, book images, virtual and live event photos across their online presence, which quite frankly, to my salespeople who are listening to this call right now, you know, if we've got one of those kind of like stick up your rear end Sears Roebuck type photos, like we use them and then we use them for the next 20 years. So that when we use them on our LinkedIn, we use them on our Zoom. And then when we go live, when people either, yay, we're finally meeting people again, meet us face to face again, or even on Zoom, they're like, wait, what? That doesn't look like you. Like, who is that guy or gal in the Sears Roebuck commercial video? So John is going to help us take it to the next level. He is a former television producer working on The Maury Show. He spent over 20 years behind a camera and has been featured as a photographer expert on several NBC Universal daytime and reality shows, which we'll talk about as well. Okay. Whew, that was like the longest introduction ever. Come on, John DeMato. Come on down, John DeMato. And Chom or Stacy, maybe you could get John up here, since it looks like I think Chom's having some issues today. There we go.
It's my fault. I blame me for all the technical problems. That's usually what happens when I show up, and I'm sorry.
It's the same thing with me. It's like nothing works. And then I'm like, I'll text my husband and be like, my computer's not working, blah, 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 blah. And he'll come stand behind me and it'll literally start working again. I don't know how that, what is that? What is that magic? What gremlins do we have and what magic do they have?
You just need to talk better to your equipment and have a relationship with them, and they will respond better. I talk to my camera and my lights all the time in front of everyone, and it just makes it work better. It's what it is.
Tip number one to our sales pros out there: be nicer to your equipment.
It's very important.
Now I'm of the school of blame your equipment. Like I have a bad ski day, it's my ski boots. I have a bad live, it's my internet. I take bad photos, it's the photographer or the camera.
Oh, no. See, yeah, we need to stop playing the blame game here. That's what needs to happen.
Right. We are going to stop the blame game. All right. So, John, tell us what do all people, but we're talking to salespeople today in general. Yeah. What do we need to do beyond, the like picture that so many people have on their LinkedIn profile? Why do we need a bigger visual brand?
Well, the first step is if you're posting a photo that looks like that, you should not ever post that photo anywhere ever again. You should take that down immediately and work on that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what level of expertise you have or where you work or who you serve. Images are about creating a relationship with your audience. It gives them an opportunity to have an entry point into your life and understand you beyond how you can help solve a problem that they have. Because people are qualifying your expression, they're qualifying your body language. When people look at a photo, the conscious thing is, am I going to like this person? And
Yeah.
subconsciously, the decision is being made within 7 seconds. So as a
Yeah.
result, you need to put your best foot forward in every photo that you share by illustrating aspects of your personality and showing people how you solve problems and why you do what you do.
Okay, so quick question for you. Yeah, we had all these questions and I'm going completely off roster. So, because selfishly asking for myself. So, we've got our LinkedIn photo. Obviously, if you're a
Yep.
business professional, you've got to have a photo up there, and B, it needs to be a good one, and B, it needs to look like you. And to what John just said, you want that thin slice. You want that, 7-second impression to pull people in and to get them to KLT you, to know, like, and trust you. If you can actually do that in 7 seconds through a photo, can a photo alone get people to know, like, and maybe not trust, but at least know and like you, or feel like they know and like you?
What I say to a lot of clients is that a photo is never going to inspire someone to sign on the dotted line right then and there, but it is going to inspire them to pick up the pen.
Yeah.
And create attention and create an opportunity to develop a connection. And a connection leads to conversation, and a conversation can lead to that rapport. And ultimately, down the line, however long that nurturing process takes, that's when you establish trust. And then that's when people are ready to spend money on what you're offering.
So where else would a business professional, a salesperson, obviously, I mean, I know, from our world, we work with a lot of speakers and trainers, and it makes sense for speakers. You're on stage, you want photographs, duh. But for a sales professional, where are they going to post photos of themselves or videos of themselves to draw attention?
Well, the question I have with not knowing sales professionals like specifically, it would be where do they find their clients? Where do they source these prospects? Where are they having the conversations? And then the answer is you post that stuff there. Whatever platform it is, or if it's a professional, site outside of the 4 major social platforms, post your stuff there. And if you have a website, if you're working as an independent, obviously there as well.
Exactly. So what kind of things would people put up? What kind of photos would people be posting at, obviously LinkedIn, maybe Facebook? A lot of B2B businesses are on Instagram and even like TikTok. So what would people be posting? What types of things?
Well, it would be a combination of things, because the way that I approach the work with my clients is to be able to give them a portfolio of images that have a well-rounded perspective of who they are and how they work and their expertise and what their day-to-day life looks like. Because again, if you're in sales, you're in building relationship mode, right? So as a result, you need to give these people something to actually sink their teeth into so that they can understand where you're coming from, and also build that relationship, not just in the way with all of the offers that you have, but also like, this person looks kind of nice. It's kind of the same idea with the headshot, but it's more of a long-term game. It's not just one photo where you're trying to impress someone and create a perception. That is the digital introduction in most cases, being a headshot. But it's everything else. Once they got their foot in the door, the way you keep them in the house is by keeping them engaged with stuff that really shows off who you are.
So while you don't necessarily want, like, you and your wife, pet, husband, Ferrari on your LinkedIn profile picture, it is actually okay to bring some of that lifestyle content into your feed later on, like after you've established your photo on LinkedIn. You feel like it's okay to bring some of that stuff in.
It's all about your lifestyle and personality. It's aligning those two things to the story you want to tell to attract a certain type of audience to come on in and learn more about you. So, you know, for some people, that photo is chapter and verse exactly what they need. And for others, they would be horrified if you even suggested that thought to them.
Yeah.
That's the whole, and at the end of the day, that's why it's important to be very connected and on the same page with your photographer, so you're able to really parse out the nuances and wrinkles that make you uniquely you and separate you from the 9 million other sales professionals that are in the same space as you.
Exactly. Okay, so let's back it up a little bit, or maybe it's along the same lines. What types of photos does an expert need to present themselves as an authority in their space?
So the way that we do it, way that I do with my clients is essentially figure out the day-to-day. So are they working on a computer at home? Are they working in a co-working space? Are they independent and all over the place? Are they spending a lot of time on the phone? So we get the technology stuff. We get the, you know, how do you brainstorm ideas? Like, what does that look like? What does it look like to have client interactions? Let's get some photos of that.
Nice.
Are you in person or just virtual or both or what? We need to see that. And then what does your downtime look like? To getting back to that, giving people a chance to get to know you. Well, what does that look like? And what are you willing to share? See, that's the thing. You're not sharing everything.
Right.
But whatever you do decide to lean into and share, be consistent with it. And then that, because again, you know, there'll be people in the audience like, oh, cool, I like to do that too. That starts a conversation. So
I'm a hang glider pilot, and that was one thing that actually re-upped doing another course at LinkedIn Live, because one of the producers was also a hang glider or paraglider pilot, and they had a launch right across from the studios. And so that conversation actually, you know, started another conversation about doing another course for LinkedIn. So you never know what's going to spark the conversation.
Well, generally speaking, well, here's the thing, you know, everybody's on a different timeline. So people that reach out to you may have an immediate need and they're ready to go, but the vast majority of people aren't. Right. So as a result, keep sharing those hang gliding photos, because that's going to keep people hooked that are into it. I mean, I'm not getting up there with you. I'm afraid of heights. Get a GoPro or get someone else to jump out with you. You'll be fine. But yeah, that kind of stuff's awesome, because it makes it not about just the work, and it doesn't feel like you're like being some kind of sales predator harassing people. It's no, I'm a human being. Yeah. And I have an opportunity to help you. And when you're ready, let's have a chat. And in the meantime, here's what's up about me, about my life, and about the work I do.
Exactly. Okay, I have another question, but let's go to the commercial a couple seconds early, just because I think the next question is going to take us like almost to the end. So I don't know if my team can throw our next commercial up. If not, I can do it. All right. Or they will do it. And we're really not having any luck with our commercials today. So that means I'm just supposed to be spending a whole lot more time with you. Okay, so, which is good for me. All right, obviously, everyone has a cell phone. We're all taking tons of selfies. We're all over committing our life to Instagram right now. When do you need to invest in a professional photographer? I mean, I wish I could like afford to drag you around with me everywhere, but A, you'd get bored of me, and B, I can't afford you. So like, where do we find that balance? When do we invest in someone like you? And when do we put up photos that, you know, we shot, our friend shot, our husband shot, whatever?
Right. Well, the first step is figuring out where you are in your business and where you want to go. That's number one. It has nothing to do with the pictures. It has to do with you. It has to do with your commitment level to going from here to here. Yeah. And then the next step is figuring out how how much of this work do I want to be on my own shoulders versus how much do I want a professional photographer to carry the load?
Yeah.
Because the answer is you need them both. You need both high quality self portraits as well as the professional ones. Because
Yeah.
again, you know, you're not going to hire a paparazzi walking around
Yeah.
with you 24/7 like you're the president of the United States, right? And moments happen in your life that you don't know that they're going to happen, but you want to
Right.
commemorate that moment, share it with your people, and you know, put that out into the world. And
Yeah.
if you don't have professional photography, you need to have the skills behind the smartphone camera to
Yeah.
be able to create something. Now, obviously, everyone has the ability to just grab this, fling it out there, and just, you know, whatever, take some shots. That's one thing. But if you want to present yourself as a leading sales expert, right, in whatever that space happens to be, you know, there needs to be that level of visual prestige to what you're putting out there, so that it kind of in people's minds are like, yeah, he is an expert. This guy definitely knows what he or she's talking about. So as a result, you know, you have to be purposeful about it. I would say the time to invest in the portrait session would be at that point when you have a clear path to what you're trying to do, because that will dictate the amount of photos that you need, and it will also dictate where they go, in addition to how much time you want to invest in social.
What do you recommend? Because I, you know, so I'm thinking one of our clients, Lubrizol, I mean, it's like PVC and piping materials and things like that. So, you know, mind you, they work with big companies and the contracts are huge. You know, do they go 3-piece suit? Do they go like, as far as styling someone for their photo shoot, what do you think about? What do you look at? Do you look at where they, you know, presenting themselves where they want to be, where they are with their vertical? Like, how do you style someone?
Well, when it comes to a company, as it does with an individual, it's how do you present yourself to your audience now?
Yeah.
You already have the roadmap. The question is if you're looking to reposition it. But the point is the way that you're doing it now will dictate the way that you can continue to do it, or if you want to go a more casual approach or a more formal approach. You know, that's really entirely up to the overall direction of how you communicate with your audience. And that's really where it comes from. It's not like a, you know, you're going to some kind of a formal thing and you have to dress a certain, that there's no rhyme or reason other than you presenting yourself in the light in which you want to be perceived by your audience. And that's the North Star for that.
Yeah, it's funny. I've seen photos before, and I know for a fact that they were shot on the, you know, on the cruise ship during formal night, you know, and it's like,
it's probably not a good idea. No, drink in the hand too, and they just drinking.
Exactly.
And there's like a weird hand like that was cropped, but it's still their headshot. Yeah, that's not going to work no matter what you do. Yeah, get rid of those. That's got to go.
Yeah, that's not the way to go.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it. Don't do that, please.
So yes, we know. Yeah. And here's the thing. I know many a businessman, many a sales professional, especially, you know, in some of the verticals, would not hesitate at spending $1,000 or $2,000 on a suit, but they're like, oh, I have to spend more than $500 on a photo shoot. Forget about it. Or why, you know, what is the photo shoot that we're doing at the, you know, at the sales kickoff every year? Isn't that good enough? Like, what, how do you qualify a photographer beyond the portfolio and the price tag? And I guess we already asked when's the time to invest, but what would you say to people to get them to invest?
Well, the first step to that is have a conversation with the photographer before you work with him or her. Because if you do not have a rapport, if you feel like it is kind of oil and water in terms of the back and forth, you can't work with that person. Not because they don't have beautiful work or be able to, create something that you can use.
Yeah.
But there's just going to be too much friction during that session because you want to work with someone where it feels like it's a nice peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It just flows, because when that happens, when that dynamic exists, that's when, the person in front of the camera is going to have his or her guard down. And the expressions that are on their faces are going to be more honest and applicable to their personality and sensibilities. And that's what we're going for. We don't want fake smiles. Fake smiles are horrific. Stop doing them. You're better off just staring with a slight smile with your mouth closed than doing a fake smile. And I mean that because the disingenuous nature of that is subconsciously because it looks like you're putting on a show. And that ties back to that Ferrari thing that you mentioned before. There's no need to put on a show for this. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars on an outfit when you have the clothes that you're already wearing in front of your clients. What was really important here, it's about being comfortable in front of the camera so that this comes out here in front of everyone to see, because that's the best way to allow people to come on in. And then, what was the second question?
I don't remember.
Good. All right. We probably answered it anyway. It's fine.
And I love that you said that, because I think I've had 4 or 5 photo shoots in my life, which just now I'm feeling is not nearly enough. And some of the photographers, like you said, super comfortable with, and they could draw the expressions that they wanted from me naturally. Other ones, and this is not necessarily a bad thing, but we didn't have a relationship beforehand. They were referred to me or whatever. And, they would say something like, think about your dog dying, and, or think about, your daughter being born, or think about, so they would have me think about those things, and then they'd be snapping the photos, because we didn't have that natural relationship on to pull that out. And then there's been other photographers who are just like, smile. And, needless to say, those didn't work out quite as well. So it's kind of interesting how different photographers use different techniques to pull what they want out of the subject.
Yeah. And I've gone through the litany of different things. Really what it boils down to is the confidence level of the photographer, because there are some photographers that do not speak at all. They'll just do technical things. Just move your head this way, turn your head, whatever. Yeah. And that's really uncomfortable, because it makes you feel like you're in the dark, while there are other, and for me, it probably took me, I quit television in 2014 and started the day after. And it took me about 2 to 3 years to get really comfortable and just say, you know what? I'm going to run this thing my way. I'm tired of listening to how every other photographer does it. I'm just going to speak to people in the exact same way that I talk to people on the street, in a meeting, or whatever, friends, family, because what that does is it lets people know from the moment they get on the phone with me in a consultation call, this is what it is. You're in or you're out, and either way, it's totally cool. But you need to know what this is, because I do not shut up during these things, and I say a lot of wild and crazy things. Not your dog dying. That's something that we've done in the television world. But when it comes to working with the personal dynamics of someone in front of the camera, I'm qualifying them the moment they start talking to me, because I'm talking to them in a certain way to see what their reactions are. Because if I go down that path, I'm going to get them to move their facial muscles, because they're going to laugh, they're going to react in a different way, and that's what we want.
Yeah. It's so funny, because like in my head, I'm always seeing the really campy, like 1970s, like, give me a tiger, give me So I don't know why I brought that up.
I throw that out as a joke sometimes. You're a tiger? You're feeling really strong? Yeah, I do that sometimes, because people are like, what the hell did that come from? I'm like, exactly. You just reacted. That's all that matters. And half the time I have to tell them, listen, do not take anything I say seriously when I'm behind the camera. It's all meant to just get your face to move. I swear.
Exactly. And it's so funny how some people are just, you know, they've got in their mind, I don't take a good photo. And it's like they want to prove it by not taking good photos.
Okay. I'm not photogenic. I have heard
Yeah,
that.
that's it. Yes.
I'm not photogenic. So here's the answer to that. We're all photogenic. Everybody. Why? Because there's no other face like yours on the planet. And that inherently makes you photogenic. The reason why you think you're not photogenic is because of all the head garbage in your own head and the validations that you've sought throughout the years to reinforce that negative perception on how you look. But at the end of the day, if you are going to solve someone's problem that has been plaguing them for God knows how long, and it's going to change their life in some way, shape, or form, they do not care if you have eyeballs and an ear and a head. They don't care. They want the help, and they're going to go to you for the help. So stop worrying about it. And it's true. And I have to ear beat people with that sometimes because, by the way, I used to be over 300 pounds and I was completely insecure in front of a camera to the point that I would run away from cameras. And there are decades of my life where there's very few photos. And I regret that. And that's what I don't want people to do. Regret the fact that they walked away because they couldn't get past the thing in their own head that they don't even need to have there in the first place.
You know, I absolutely love what you said just now. I mean, as salespeople tend to be a little bit alpha. So it's very interesting to me that a lot of them as alphas are, you know, think they're not photogenic. But what you said was, you're solving a problem. You're solving the point of pain of these people. You're giving them relief. You're giving them solution. You're making their life easier. People are going to like you for that, for solving their problem. And I mean, that is, as salespeople, you know, no, you're not skeezy used car sales dude. You are the person, you're the advocate, you're the person who's finding answers for your prospects, for your clients. And as that person, you know, if you can let that shine through in the photograph, you know, it has to be a good one.
It is. And it's not going to be, and the other thing is, it's not going to be a good one for everyone. And again, that's okay.
That's okay.
Because you want people that want to get into your nurturing funnel in the top and go and do the whole thing. And you want them to come in willingly and feel like, you know, there's something, you know, waiting for me at the end of this that I'm going to really, really appreciate. So just be who you are, own it. And the way you dress, the expressions, the activities, the everything that you do in front of that camera, just own it. And it's going to work itself out.
Yeah, you know, that's a really good point, because just like in life, you know, we can't be everything to everyone, nor should we try to be everything to everyone. Know who our audience is and be the best person for them. Just like dating or life or marriage, you know, you can't be everything to everyone, but you're the right person for who you're working with, who you're having a conversation with, who you're creating the relationship with right now. And it's going to be so obvious if you're trying to be something else. So very obvious if you're trying to be something else. Well, so how go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that's a first class ticket to torpedoing building growth. That's all that is.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. So how do people work with you? How do they get in touch with you? What do you have for us, John?
Well, I noticed during this that there was a really nice crawl with all kinds of information. So hopefully everybody already got that. But the easiest to me is johndemato.com, my website, because I have all of my social accounts there. And I also write a newsletter. I talk about this stuff. I write this 3 days a week. I've been doing it for about 4 years. So I have plenty of material to talk more about how to create a persuasive visual story. And
I love it.
Oh, there's the link to it. I just got excited. I saw the crawl. I just got excited. Sorry. That's the one. That's the one.
Go there. johndemato.com/personal-brand. But if you just go to johndemato.com, you can crawl around the website, find all the cool stuff. And I think it's so important. I'm always talking about video and using video on LinkedIn, because that authenticity, that, it really gives people a sense of who you are. And when you have that disconnect, like we said, from the Sears Roebuck or the cruise photo with the cut off arm on your LinkedIn profile to who you really are, there's just a big disconnect. And so please invest in yourself, invest in your business, invest in your future. And if you happen to be in Vegas, when is Influence? It's a couple weeks from now,
It's next Saturday to Monday.
Okay, so if you happen to be in Vegas next Saturday to Monday, maybe you can get John to take your photo as well. But certainly you can reach out to him at johndemato.com. Thank you so much for being our guest this week. I'm glad we were able to catch up, and I really wish I was going to Influence so I could meet you IRL.
Well, the pleasure was all on this side of the Zoom screen.
Yes,
or StreamYard screen. Yes.
StreamYard, exactly. Zoom would have been easier. All right. Thanks, John. You can contact John on LinkedIn too, of course. I'm going to pop his LinkedIn now down at the bottom. Very simple, linkedin.com/in/John DeMato. Oh, or go to johndemato.com. And thank you so much for all of your great information today. See ya. I hope you come to Colorado. See you soon. And bye, everybody else.